Hi, I'm Rachel Tolson, and this is my year in review. January hit us fast and hard. I lost my job as a managing editor of a newspaper produced by the United Methodist Church 2 days after we had our 6th baby boy. The loss propelled me to begin writing full-time, which I can't say was a bad thing, but I did feel intense anxiety for many of the early months of this year, because losing a job that pays a steady income is never easy. But in all the extra time I had, I was able to crank out more than 500,000 rough draft words for both fiction works and nonfiction works. Before the job loss hit, I had only been writing here and there for blogs and, of course, for newspaper. But what I really wanted to write, and what I felt I'd been made to write, was fiction, and I rarely had enough time to devote to that. So I took that extra time from losing a job, and I started crafting the stories that had built up in me over time, and there were so many. At the end of this year, I had completed the rough draft versions of Farandale, a middle grade fantasy series that follows some of our favorite fairy tale villains into stories that sort of explain their villainy. My Brother Oliver, a middle grade literary novel about a boy whose emotionally disturbed brother embarrasses him. A Moment in Time, a middle grade literary novel about a boy and 2 musician brothers who has to face bullies and forgive his dad and somehow figure out how to find himself in the shadows of his big brothers. The first book in the middle grade Power Buddies series, which follows 9 superheroes with elemental powers. The Midnight Hour, an adult thriller that pushed me completely outside of my comfort zone with its kidnapping and torture and romance undercurrent. The Life-Changing Madness of Tidying Up After Children, a humor parenting book that turns daily tidying battles into reasons to laugh. And Woman Interrupted, a memoir about my relationship with my children and this new woman they have made me. I also released my first poetry book, This Is How You Know, and began launching my Family on Purpose series, which will continue releasing into 2016. Both of them did better than expected. So, as you can see, it was quite a year. Accomplishing all of this helped me see the good in something as terrifying as a job loss. I believe that there are no mistakes in life. There are only opportunities to show us who we are, and I was a writer. 2015 was a good year for my parenting humor blog, Crash Test Parents. A few days before my job ended, I was invited to blog for the Huffington Post, which has dramatically increased the traffic to my site and has also resulted in some pretty entertaining Dear Concerned Reader bits. Because while I could sort of control the comments and their crassness on my own blogging platform, it was like the Wild West when I made it to a larger platform. I would let myself feel the shame of those comments, and then I would collect them all, write my first response, delete everything, and then write another, more humorous, less affected response that I knew my readers would enjoy. They ended up being some of my most popular posts, but I did it mostly to help me deal with the judgment and condemnation that inevitably comes when your platform gets bigger. I have a very thin skin, and humor is my way of protecting that thin skin. Now I actually look forward to all the ugly comments, because I know what they'll become later. In March, I also had my first submission accepted by Scary Mommy, another site that publishes parenting essays. I love writing for these larger platforms, and I feel so honored and privileged that I've had the opportunity. This Writer Life is a blog I started this year, geared toward writers who are parents. I've met some fantastic people who just don't feel like they have the time to write a book, but know they want to. I absolutely love helping them come into a place where they realize that this is possible for them too. I've written on mindset, productivity, publishing, and book launches, and have big plans for this platform in the future. My husband and I launched In the Boat with Ben, a parenting podcast that is part child development research, part Here's What We Do. It helps parents who are entrepreneurs and those who work from home try to find integration between their family lives and their work lives by filtering everything through values. Our heart with this podcast is to provide parents with the tools they need to raise their children in a loving, empathic way, and also to be successful in their small business endeavors, so that they will see how their parenting life informs their work life, and vice versa. We record every Friday in the comfort of our home, and I absolutely love having these conversations with my husband. If anything, they've reinforced our values and helped us be better parents too. I also launched a weekly video show where I talk about books and anything else that's inspiring me. I could talk about books all day, and this has been just a perfect show for me to explore my bookish nature. Now I have to read books for my job, which is really, really cool. Who gets to do that? So what a lost job really afforded me was an opportunity to pursue a dream. And what that dream pursuit did, at its heart, was make me into a better wife and mother and friend. I now had the freedom to incorporate a Sabbath into my work schedule. Every 7th week, I would put away everything pressing and everything business and everything related to writing and just hang out with my family. We would read together or play board games together or sing or dance or run together. We would just be together. And I could feel the joy and love and hope it unlocked in us. Because even if we didn't know for sure whether that client payment would come through in time to take care of this month's electric bill, we knew more and more surely that we loved and were loved, and that was enough. I'm sure that's a lesson we will keep learning over and over, and I look forward to seeing what 2016 is going to teach me. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great 2016.